What's the ulterior motive of Big Pharma? Are they making money? What's going on here? It's become very confusing. And there's very few people left that we can actually trust. But I want to bring on a great friend of the show. He was a Trump admin appointee, Dr. Steve Soloway. Dr. Soloway, welcome back to the program, sir. How you doing? And give us, before as we get going here, tell us about the new book that's coming out here any day now.
Well, let me quickly say, how you doing? How you doing?
It's great to have you back, sir.
Oh, man, thank you so much for having me. I love listening to your show so much. I could have skipped my own segment because I wanted to listen to you.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah.
So things are well. The new book, Medical Politics, should debut in, got a book signing at Trump Tower on Thursday night this week, 5 to 7 p.m. I'll sign books, take pictures, answer questions about my field of rheumatology, answer medical politics type questions. We'll have a little of that now, of course.
Yeah, and doctor, what is when you say medical politics? Just before we get going into the trans stuff, what is going on? I mean, you unearthed a lot of it during COVID when the hospitals were making money. How can people trust the medical system? For all the people out there that now with vaccines and masks and the gender affirming care for their children, give people some advice out there for where they can go for trustworthiness, and what are some of the things they need to watch out for in the medical system that is leading to it literally becoming politicized? It's never been like this before.
Medicine is politicized. Medicine is socialized. This is a fact. It's so you can't say I can't tell you what to do because the horse is out of the gate. And what's happening is if you go to the doctor and you get this new term gaslighted, the guy just ignores you. He walks to the next room because he is being paid to see you within 15 minutes, including his note and documentation, whether it's good, bad, or sideways, because that's what the federal government will audit when they come after the hospital that doctor is employed by. So you're not getting somebody that takes you seriously. So to answer that question, you need to find a self-employed doctor who's been in practice 20 or 30 years, who's got a few gray hairs, knows the system, understands the problems, which patient is lying, which one is really depressed, which one is malingering, and which one is truly sick. You can't gaslight everybody. You need to listen. You need to ask the right questions. You need to find out what is wrong with people. And then here's the kicker. You need to be able to order the testing that you need. You need to engage consultants that are not in your field that may be helpful to solving this patient's problem. So one problem we have is I refer patient X for a referral to a kidney doctor because they have kidney failure, except they had to wait 3 days for the insurance company to approve the referral. Now, the alternative would be that person would have to go to the hospital and spend tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars as opposed to a $300 office visit. Next, if you order an MRI on a person for any particular problem that you feel an MRI or a CAT scan is warranted, unless you order it emergently or stat, it'll go through a review process, and half the time it's denied, and the denial is usually for no reason, and it's denied by somebody not in your field or qualified.
So it's all turned into bureaucracy, right? It's turned into a bureaucracy, and you've exposed how, really, I mean, they were paying these hospitals all this federal money, and it's all kind of mucked up by the federal government. You were talking to me off air about the trans healthcare stuff. Give us your take on what's going on there, them making money, how that LGBT stuff is pushing into the healthcare system, because people are asking about that, and they're like, why is this happening right now? Why is it so prevalent? You know, you were on an appointee by President Trump and his Health and Fitness Council. I don't think that was a priority back when you were in the administration. So what is going on? Why has this happened like this with the LGBT trans movement? Talk a little bit about that.
Okay. First, I'll state for the people that are going to hate me when I'm done, I'm not transphobic. I do have transgender patients, and I have friends that have done all these crazy things. But the underlying problem to start is mental illness has never been addressed in the United States. And as long as mental illness remains out of control, there's going to be a lot of people that are in and out of hospitals and changing their sex and thinking that they're a man and a woman or a chair or a couch or a cow or an elephant or something. So the people that are depressed and down in the dumps and have all these problems, who are unhappy with their social situation, decide that, you know, I'm not making it as a boy or a girl, so I'm going to switch. Well, if you actually believe that you can switch by getting body mutilating surgery, then and if you believe that, I believe you, except you have a delusion. You are believing a false, unshakable belief, which is what a delusion is defined as. And this falls under the realm of psychosis. So, by definition, and this is indisputable, I don't care if you brought the top psychiatrist from the highest gulag in China, they can't dispute that a delusion is a psychiatric problem. And just because you believe that you're a coat or a chair or a man or a woman or a car or a motorcycle, it doesn't change that you're born with chromosomes and you're born with genitalia. Now, there are 0.001% of the population born with both genitalia, male and female. That's called a hermaphrodite. This is a medical condition, and generally at birth, a decision is made between the family and the doctor which sex could be the more appropriate depending on the nature of the surgery, I guess, and all different options. But other than that small group of people, and I'm talking small, like 1 in millions, but they do exist. Other than that, you're talking about a bunch of people who, are very depressed, and this is their way of self-medicating because they really believe that they changed they changed who they are.
Well, let me ask you this, Doc. Why do you think that? I mean, this is obvious. We're talking about it. People like you are advising leaders, like President Trump. And I'm sure some people who are advising Biden, I guess, maybe care about the country in some respect. Why don't they call it out, mental illness? Why don't they speak against it? And how are the hospitals now? We were showing the footage, Vanderbilt University, how they were talking about how they were making money off of these sex reassignment things, right? So why aren't doctors and medical professionals stepping in and saying, let's address the mental health thing? Is it not as profitable for the system? So why isn't that happening when the mental illness is on the rise, opioids, all this stuff? So why don't you think that's getting addressed? Is it not as profitable, or what's going on there?
If I only knew the answer to that question, I don't know why mental illness is ignored. It's been ignored for 75 years.
Yeah.
I really don't understand it. I don't get it. Psychiatrists are the least paid doctors. I can't even answer the question. It's so baffling to me. I will just tell you that the new wave of doctors are shift workers. They're employees. There's no entrepreneurs. There's no people that look at this as a career. Wow. So if you don't look at this as a career in a capitalist society and you look at this as a shift worker in a socialist society, you just don't care. You're taking direction. You're taking orders. So if you're a doctor in the new system, the new order, you're an employee of a fascist or a communist or at minimum, a far left extremist.
Yeah, you see like these big hospital systems. It always seems like when I go to the doctor, it's now a branch of, this thing or this hospital system, right?
Yeah.
There's no independent anymore. So you're saying that is actually the root cause of all the problems that we're having in the medical system right now.
Well, it's all intermingled. The federal government 15, 16 years ago, when under the great Barack Obama, started to encourage hospitals to buy and incorporate hospitals with doctors in the community, thus eliminating the need to audit 1 million doctors and simply audit 1,000 hospitals. So it's to the federal government's advantage to control the healthcare system. And by controlling the healthcare system, they can have more 9-to-5 employees that are, in my new book, what I would describe as interchangeable people that can flip from one various part of the government to another and nobody would know the difference. Those people can focus on a hospital, do an audit, instead of having to run after all the doctors because there's too much work and then they can't steal your money with an audit.
Wow, that is so scary. Guys, Dr. Soloway, new book, Bad Medicine, Medical Politics, author of both. Dr. Soloway, you guys can go to his website, find him. Really scary stuff, guys. Be very careful. Take his advice there about independent medical professionals like him. Few left, but that is really scary what they're doing. It's all about central power. It's all about them, eroding small business, whether it be a corner store or literally medical professionals. So Dr. Soloway, always great to have you on. Last word, sir.
Government overreach has destroyed medicine in the last 15 years. And anybody listening who is in medical school or residency or any doctorate in training, if you want to be successful, you have to work for yourself. It's very simple.
Yeah, and you got to go to those independent doctors. Dr. Soloway, thank you, sir. I'll see you on Thursday at the book signing at Trump Tower. You're the man. Thank you.
I can't wait.
All right. Thank you, Doc. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Mike Crispi Unafraid. Do not go anywhere.